Are you wondering why your landing page is not converting well on mobile devices? Well, you're not alone. A lot of e-commerce brands are struggling with creating a landing page that actually sells on mobile devices. And the reason for this is that the focus is still too much on the desktop experience. Now you might say, well, my website was designed mobile first, or my website is fully responsive. But it doesn't mean that if your website shows properly on mobile devices, that it caters to the behavior of mobile users. And that is where things go wrong. The fact is that you look at your website on your desktop device. Your agencies are looking at your website on their desktop devices. Your freelancers, your team members, everyone is still very focused on the desktop experience once your website has been made. And also when a mobile website is being developed, it happens on a desktop device. So you can see there is still a lot of focus on desktop, and therefore the experience that people will have when they're on their mobile differs from what you see on the desktop device. Just remember, when someone is looking at your website on their mobile device, they probably are on the couch, they are maybe walking down the street, they are on the train, or they are taking a big bathroom break. And therefore the behavior is also different than when someone is sitting on a chair behind their computer. And you need to take that into account when you are optimizing the mobile experience, because more than 60%, and for a lot of websites, it's actually 80% of the users are on mobile. And because a lot of landing pages are not optimized for people that are using your website on their mobile phone, you're creating a lot of frustrated visitors and you're losing a lot of conversions, and therefore you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Now in this video, I will show you what you need to take into account when you are creating a mobile landing page and what you definitely need to avoid so that you are catering your landing page to the needs of the mobile user and therefore are increasing your conversions and also are generating a lot more revenue. So let's dive in. Now, if you're wondering why should I listen to whatever Marc is saying, well, over the last 8 years, I've been helping more than 60 e-commerce brands working on their conversion rate and increasing their revenue from their store. And you'll be surprised how often I still see that the mobile experience is lacking behind. And a lot of the improvements that we make, a lot of extra revenue that we're generating for our brands is by optimizing the mobile experience to really cater to the needs of the mobile user. So in this video, I would like to help you fix that. First, let me get one thing straight. I already hinted on this before, but people behave differently when they're on their mobile device compared to when they're on their desktop device. And there are actually 3 major differences that explain this behavior. The first one is that people on the mobile spend less time on your website compared to the desktop users. This means that you need to get to the point quicker, and the people on mobile devices are taking decisions much faster. And so you don't have a lot of time to convince them, and you need to make sure that you push them through that funnel quicker than desktop users. The second one is that the screen space is limited, what we also call the real estate on mobile devices. It's much smaller, so therefore you cannot display as much information at once as you can on desktop. So you really need to focus on what I'm going to display first, what comes second, and what comes third, so that you have a good logical order and you also focus on the important aspects right away. But it also means that you cannot just copy whatever is on desktop and put it on mobile. You will need to shorten things, you will need to visualize things in a different way in order that it really looks nice on mobile, but also gets the message across in fewer words and more powerful with images. And the third one is that navigation is harder. On desktop, you have a mouse or you have your mouse pad, and it's much more easier to click on things, to drag things, to find and hover on things. While on mobile, you cannot even hover, you can only tap. And a lot of things, for example, the mobile menu, it requires a lot of taps before you get to the point where you want to go. While on desktop, you can just hover a couple of times and then you're already at a subcategory that you need. So you need to make sure that when you're on mobile, it's very easy to navigate around and that you can find whatever you need. Now, these 3 things have one thing in common. If people are spending less time on mobile devices, you also need to make sure that their experience is quick and that it's easy to navigate your site. If also the real estate is smaller, you need to make sure that you simplify things in order to display the information as accurate as possible without overwhelming your visitors with too much scrolling and too much information. And when navigating your site is more difficult on mobile, you need to make it easier for people to get around and find what they need. In one word, you need to make it easier and faster for people to use your website. Now, there are a couple of ways that you can establish this. For example, in your copy. you need to get to the point right away and mention the benefits, especially if you have some sections with paragraphs and subheadings. What you will need to do in the subheadings is to clearly communicate the benefit already. For example, when you are writing copy for premium running shoes, don't call the subheading premium running shoes, but say run faster, longer, and pain-free, for example. So you immediately have the benefit clear of what the shoes establish. And therefore, people on mobile that skim the text, they already get the benefit without having to read the text underneath. Now, another great way of communicating clearly the benefits is through your images. And let me show you some examples. Here you see an example of a brand that communicates already some information in their product images. Because on mobile, what people often do is go through the images. It's the first thing that they see. And therefore, they can already see some benefits that your product have. You can already inform them about the product in the images. People love to see images. They prefer it over text. And if you already can immediately communicate some value, that will definitely help get the message across. So here it already explains some benefits of this moisturizer. There's lightweight, not greasy. There's no white cast. Here's a key ingredient that they really advertise why it is a good product. And here you can also see some other benefits: hydrates dry skin, blurs imperfection, etc. So people already get a lot of information about the product while just being above the fold. Like the first thing that they see, they can already immediately see a lot of information without having to search through the page to see why they should buy your product. Here you have another example where you even see before and after photos of when people use the product. This is really powerful. On the first thing that they see, they can already scroll down through the images and get a lot of information of what they can expect and also why and what it does. For example, here it delivers instant all-day volume, reduces signs of shedding. So, you immediately are clear about what the product does. And you might say, okay, I don't have a product that I can really use a lot of information to explain what it does. But here you have an example of just an easy, what is it? A beef stick that you can eat. Now you might wonder, what can I say about this beef stick? But they also just communicate whatever they can. They have here the ingredients of the product. They have here more clearly that it has no sugar, that it has real ingredients, the protein, that's 100% beef. So even they communicate their value in some simple images, and they even have an engaging image here to keep you attracted to this page. So really use your images to communicate the benefits of your product. That's super important for mobile devices. And while staying on the topic of images, a third thing that is really important is that you visualize clearly your benefits as well, and also the information that you want to share. So what you see on this page is they have information in clear images and icons, basically, that is easy to comprehend. It's not just a block of text that you need to read. They even show here a visualization of some ingredients. So it looks fresh, it is immediately clear what's in there. And they have it also here to clarify it. And they have here also a comparison between them and other snacks, like what makes them better than the competitors. So instead of just saying it, they use visuals to communicate that value. This brand also has a way of giving the information in a visual, engaging way. So here again, you see the icons with what it is. You also have here an image, but also just some copy that they need to display. It looks nice here in a tab form where you can just click and see short pieces of text to get your information. It's all designed very nicely, so you can really go through the website and get your information in a clear, engaging way without sifting through big blocks of text. And the final example of communicating your information in a visual, appealing way is this brand, where they show cool images, where they have a short text, where they also bold important keywords that for people that just sift through text can easily read and comprehend about their product. So here you have the C-shaped eye cups, you have the innovative air bubble with just a short explanation of what it is. Makes it very visual and appealing to go through and read it. So this is a great strategy to apply for your mobile landing page. The fourth aspect of what really drives conversions on mobile landing pages won't surprise you, it's social proof. More than 90% of the people, they trust social proof over brand claims. And therefore it's very effective to display that social proof. And there's multiple ways that you can do this. For example, just showing the rating with the number of reviews. When you click on it, you can go through the reviews. You can even filter on low reviews if you want to see what people don't like about it. Another and even more effective way of showing social proof is through user-generated content. For example, here there's a video of someone who has bought the product and what their experience is. You can go through it and see what the people say about it. This is much more trustworthy because it's not just someone who typed up the review behind their desk and published it as a Laura S from Oklahoma, but it's actually someone who really recorded themselves. And here you have another way of where you can see the product in action by people who actually bought it. This gives people a lot of confidence in the product, but also it gives them context. They also see how people use it, what they like, what they didn't like, and they can actually see it applied to someone else's skin, or they can see the dog playing with it, or they can see a toddler eating it. So that gives a lot of confirmation that it is a solid and good product. And the reason why social proof is so effective on mobile devices is because people don't do a lot of research on mobile devices because they spend less time on websites. So if they have reviews, if they have ratings, if they see people using the product, that is for them a clear confirmation that it is a solid and trustworthy brand, and they don't need to look for a lot of other clues to be sure that they can buy the product. They really need these trust symbols in order to quickly make a decision, and they are looking for it. They need something to justify their purchase, and therefore usually social proof is more effective on mobile than on desktop. As I said also before, what's very important for mobile landing pages to convert well is that it's fast and easy, the experience that people have. So that also means that your checkout needs to be very smooth and easy. Now with Shopify, you don't have a lot of options if you have a Shopify checkout because it is quite boxed in with what you can do. But if you offer express checkouts, that will definitely boost your conversions because people, they often don't have to enter all their information. They can just easily choose a method that they have used before and then check out. And you can display it in a checkout like this, or you can also already show it on the product page. This usually helps with products that are not too expensive. So someone is not going to really use an express checkout button for like furniture of $3,000, but it is good for products that have a lower value. You can decide if you want to show ShopPay or PayPal or another method that is easy and fast for people to check out. If you make it as short as possible, people also don't have a lot of time to think about, okay, should I really do this? Should I actually maybe do it tomorrow? Like before they know it, they have already bought. There's another way of displaying these express checkouts, and that is also in the cart. That's also something that you can do in order to speed up the process. If you have a checkout that's configurable, like in Magento or WooCommerce, what you then need to take care of is the number of fields that you show. If you can make it shorter for people, if you don't ask for their birthday and all the other things that maybe don't have really a lot of value, because you can also ask that in an email afterwards, then remove these fields, make it easy for them to quickly go through the checkout, and therefore they don't have a lot of time to be frustrated by typing all these things, because that's also annoying on mobile, but also they don't have a lot of time to second guess their purchase. If you apply these 5 aspects, your mobile conversion rate, your landing page for the mobile users will definitely convert a lot better. You will generate a lot more sales. Now, a bonus tip for the brands for which this can apply is to use a certain urgency. And what you can do is, for a limited time, and this works really well for specific landing pages, also for mobile, is to use some urgency where you say, if you order within the next 24 hours, you get, for example, a free accessory, or you get a discount that's going to expire soon. Like, you can test what works well and also what fits your brand. You can also promote expedited shipping if you order today, that they get it for free, or you have an extended warranty. Or if you also have some software, then you can say you have the first month for free for the software or app that helps you reach your health goals. Like, if you can offer them something for a limited time, if they don't postpone their behavior, that will really boost the conversion rate of your mobile landing page. And what you often see nowadays is also a mobile specific discount. And something that is recently a thing, and you see it mainly for products or services that are a bit more costly, is that there's a mobile specific incentive, and usually that's a discount, and they really say this discount only is valid for mobile devices. You see it on booking.com, for example, and also for renting villas. This is something new. We haven't tested it ourselves, so we don't know how effective it is, and definitely don't just apply it. But this is an interesting way to nudge your visitor not to postpone that purchase, especially if you have higher priced products, because people still feel more comfortable with purchasing on desktop. And if you can motivate them to actually do it on a mobile, like if you can break through that wall, if you can beat that resistance of not ordering high priced products or expensive products on a mobile phone, that will also benefit you later down the road when people return, because they have bought on their mobile before it went well, and therefore this will also pay off in the future. Now again, don't just apply this, test this, but this is something that is a new development that could be interesting to test out. Now, there are of course not only things that you need to apply in order to help your mobile landing page convert really well, there are also things that you definitely need to avoid. For example, a low site speed. Make sure that your site loads really fast, especially since mobile users don't spend as much time on your website. So if they have to wait long, it's more likely that they will drop off. Also prevent small unreadable text, especially text in images. On desktop it can look great. On mobile, when the image is smaller, the text can become unreadable. The text needs to be big enough for people to easily read it. Don't offer too many choices, so don't have like a bundle, a frequently bought together, like another upsell on the page and 3 other call to actions. Just make it simple, an add to cart button, maybe also an upsell or a bundle, but don't throw too many choices because otherwise people don't know what to do or they get a bit stuck or lost in all the options that there are. This also means that you should avoid a clunky navigation or a menu with all these different categories and subcategories and subcategories and all these different smaller levels. If you have a big assortment, you can also just try to show fewer products in your navigation on mobile, because 80% of the revenue comes from 20% of the product. So you can see if you can avoid displaying very prominently the categories that don't really sell well, so you can make the navigation more simpler. And you probably will be surprised that it doesn't really impact your revenue that much. And the last thing that you need to avoid is that you don't test on mobile devices. Grab your mobile phone, grab the one from your partner, from your mother, your father, your nephew, your niece, whatever, like try different types of mobile devices, go through your website, see if everything displays properly, if everything works well, because it might work nicely on your phone if you have an Android, but it might break on an iOS operating system of Apple. So go through your website very thoroughly, try different things, see if everything works properly. If you want me to look at your website or your mobile landing page and see what you can do in order to maximize your conversions, click the first link in the description below and book a free call with me today. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up or subscribe also to this channel if you want to stay up to date about the latest e-commerce tips and tricks and see case studies from real A/B tests that we do with our clients. And after you do that, be sure to watch this video where we increased the revenue by more than 200K by just tweaking a simple thing on a collection page. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one.